So as I said at the end of the last video, I think we want to be interested in what happens if the monkey actually misses the bananas, right? The monkey just happens to wander off to the side and the bananas go all the way to the ground. Right now, if you notice, what happens is if I let the bananas go to the ground, they get there, they stop because they can't go off the screen any, and I can eventually just go over and now I'm touching them again, right? I mean, it's continuing to do this whole program here of if touching the monkey, right? So even if the bananas are there, it's still looking for am I touching the monkey? And so I could say, yep, I'm touching the monkey. So how do we handle this? Right? We want to, in addition to asking this question about are you touching the monkey, we also want to know, are you touching the floor? And so how would we do that? Well, we could come to control and we could add in another if block. And I really do think that this is two separate if blocks, because it's not you're either touching the monkey or you're touching the floor. It's you might be touching the monkey, in which case you do this. You might be touching the floor, in which case you do something else. And there's a third option there, right? Which is, well, I'm not doing either. I'm still falling. And so this is a good situation where we might just use two if statements. Let me put this one back in for now, and let's look at what this one is. So I want to know, if you're touching the floor, what should you do? So the first thing is, how do we ask if you're touching the floor? So let's come back to sensing. And you may have remembered that you saw this idea that if you're touching the edge, and so the floor is the edge, so we could say, if you are touching the edge, what should you do? Well, we want to signal that the game is over. And again, I don't think this is the right solution long term, but I'm going to show you a quick way to sort of do this, which is that there's a block at the bottom of the control menu that says stop, and there are multiple options here. You can stop one script, you can stop all the other scripts in this sprite except me, or you can stop everything. And this is going to be, let's stop everything, right? If you're touching the edge, then stop everything. And so I'm going to put that in here. So again, when I receive the game, start falling. If you're touching the monkey, hide and then show. And for this point, we're not going to add in lives. We're just going to say the first time you miss a banana, we're done. Stop all. So we're going to put that in there. If touching edge, stop all. And so let me run this program. And you'll notice that nothing really seems to be happening. Right? Well, that's for a couple of reasons, right? The first is that, I don't know if you can see this in the video or not. This is actually triggering. It's just triggering very fast. And in fact, if you watch the bananas, and again, I don't know if this shows up well in the video. I can see it on my machine. I can actually see the bananas just flickering a teeny bit there. What's happening is they're going to the top in places, everybody. Right here they go to 0, 163. Notice right now that they're actually at 162. That's because it came in here to this loop and it changed by -1. It went from 163 to 162. It said, am I touching the monkey? No. The monkey's on the ground. Am I touching the edge? Oh, wait, I am touching the edge. Right? I'm up here and this is an edge. The top is an edge, the left is an edge, the right is an edge, the bottom is an edge. So how do you do this? One thing would be just to change it so that this is considered the top, right? That when we do the places, everybody, instead of going to 163, we go to 147. And now it won't touch the edge because of the top. Although it might still, in theory, touch the left or the right edge. And that's going to be a problem. We don't want to ever have to worry about that. And so I think there's a better way to do this. I think instead of saying if touching edge, we should do something else instead. Let me just show you this. Right now, as I move the bananas around, remember that we can look at where it is through this value right here. So that's -32. I'm going to say that right there is just touching the ground. A y value of -156 is basically touching the ground. And so instead of asking the bananas, are you touching the edge, I want to know, is it above -156, meaning it's in the air, or is it below -156, meaning it's hit the ground? And so I can pick all of that up by coming to the Operators tab. In the Operators tab, remember we used the equals test in the previous unit when we were looking at if it equals cat or dog. But now what I want to do is exactly this. I want to know if the y value of my bananas is less than negative 156, because if they're below negative 156, then I've hit the ground and I want to stop all. And so I'm going to go to motion, because this, again, is something that you may not have noticed before. But hidden at the bottom of the motion menu, you actually can ask any sprite what is its y position, its x position, or its direction. And so I'm going to drag out the y position. I'm going to drop it in the circle. And I'm going to say, if the y position of the bananas, again, this is the script for the bananas, if the y position is less than negative 156, then we've hit the ground. And so let's try this again. Start, it's falling. First time I'm going to catch the bananas, and we're going to see that I get a point. And then the next time I'm going to move out of the way, make sure that I can't possibly catch the bananas. I'll let them go to the ground. See this y value here, negative 50, 60, negative 80, negative 90, negative 157. Negative 157 is the first time that the y position was less than negative 156. We hit that, and we stopped all scripts. Game is over. I can't get any more points.